Let's talk about the Sandbox MMA UFC rankings for post UFC 310. Couple of changes on the list that I want to talk about, and I'll give you a deep insight as to why things have changed the way they are. Just briefly starting, we're going to start with the first fight. It was Kennedy and Zechniku and Lucas Bursky. No changes there, but Kennedy and Zechniku is right on the fringe of the top 15. One other guy from heavyweight gets cut that's in the rankings, and Zechniku is going to go at 15. But until he fights someone that gets him into the rankings, I'm not going to put him there unless there's a cut made that he deserves to go in, or there's a really bad loss from someone in the rankings that just deserves to get them out of the rankings. Chase Hooper, Clay Guida, nothing really changing there. Nothing in the top 15's happening. Love Chase Hooper, but beating Clay Guida doesn't get you in the top 15, I'm sorry to say. Chiesa and Max Griffin, same thing, just like not the kind of opponents to beat to get you in the top 15. But let's just jump right into flyweight. I'm sorry, I don't want to expose crazy stuff for you here. Flyweight, Cody Durden and Joshua Van. Cody Durden was ranked number 13th for me here. Charles Johnson ranked 15th. I understand Charles Johnson beat Joshua Van, but and it was by knockout. I do think if it went to decision, Joshua Van would have won, but it doesn't matter. He got the finish. I am going to keep him at 15, though. This one was tricky because this is a little like triangle here. It's like Charles Johnson beat Joshua Van, but lost to Cody Durden by decision. Cody Durden obviously beat Charles Johnson by decision, but lost in a brutal beatdown to Joshua Van. So it's like Johnson beat Van, but lost to Durden, and then Van beat Durden, but lost to Johnson. Durden beat Johnson, but lost to Van. So it was just like a weird, tricky three spot. So what I did was I just moved Durden down one, moved Van up to 13, think it's justified, and Charles Johnson with another win is probably going to jump over both of them. But this is what I found to be fitting for right now. I'm a big fan of these three fighters. I think they scrap it out. I think they show that even at the bottom of the top 15 of flyweight, a lot of technique, a lot of skill, a lot of talent. So it's something to be excited about. We are going to move on to the next fight, which is Eric Anders, Chris Weidman. Obviously, nothing changes there. Then we go to welterweight, Brian Battle and Randy Brown. I wanted to put the winner of this fight at the 15 spot before the card had started. I pretty much made that up in my head, but Brian Battle got the decision. Wasn't that impressive. A little bit of a stink fest, even though it was against a good opponent. Don't necessarily think he won. I kind of thought Randy Brown got the win, so I'm actually going to leave the 15 spot as it is, and you'll see what happens at welterweight when we get there in a little bit. You know what? Let's just get to it right now to talk about the Vicente Luque and Ian Gary fights. Fuck it. I move Vicente Luque up a spot and Michael Venom Page down a spot because I do think Michael Venom Page, he has a fight signed at middleweight, and I expect him to stay there after, but not enough time has passed for me to completely make that full decision, so I'm keeping him here in the rankings at 15. If Battle or Randy Brown had impressed, I would have dropped him out just expectations that he would have been in middleweight soon. But I'm going to keep him here at 15. I moved Vicente Luque up one. He was at my 15, but I think he was on the UFC's page at 14 at the time, so I'm going to agree with that. I'm going to move Luque up one spot to 14, and I actually had MVP at 13 now that I'm thinking about it. And Carlos Prates moves up one spot as well to 13. So it's Luque and Prates moving up one spot. MVP moving down two spots. Sorry. And then we'll go quickly Ian Gary and Sean Brady. Ian Gary gained more aura in this fight than Shavkat did. I'm keeping Shavkat at the 3 spot. I don't think that performance warrants him a jump over Usman or Leon Edwards, even though he is the number one contender for the title. That doesn't mean that he's not. It's just I don't have him as the number one guy in the division, not named Bilal right now. So I don't think that performance was worthy enough of him moving up to the 1 spot or the 2 spot. Keep him right where he is, but I do think Ian Gary being able to take 2 rounds off of Shavkat and show that he ain't the boogeyman does warrant him a jump up. I thought his surviving over Shavkat was a little bit more impressive than I don't want to say a little bit more impressive than a dominant win over Sean Brady, but than a dominant win Sean Brady had over Gilbert. But I look at the competition. Gary almost finished Hamza or Shavkat. Wow, dude, the brain is off today. Gary almost finished Shavkat at a moment in that fight. Sean Brady didn't really have moments where he was almost finishing Gilbert Burns, but he did dominate him across 5 rounds pretty much. So I'm going Ian Gary to 5, Sean Brady to 6, but all these guys got to do is fight again soon, and then rankings change. So that's just the update at welterweight there. Let's move to featherweight. Everyone moves up a spot, and the reason why. So we'll talk about Doo Ho Choi. I put him at 15. I had to put someone at 15, and the reason why I took Max Holloway out, guys. Max Holloway is going to be moving up to lightweight. It is confirmed that he is moving up to lightweight, and that is where he will finish his career. So I think Max Holloway moving up to lightweight and being solidified as moving up to lightweight and staying there is enough for me to take him out of the rankings here, because I do have him. If you look at the lightweight rankings, he is ranked here 3 at lightweight, so don't want to hear all the shit talk, because he is ranked as one of the best lightweights, because I do think he is, until Ilya goes up to 155 and chases him up there, which would be so sad to see. I know he's going to hunt down Charles Oliveira right now, but would like Ilya to have one more defense at featherweight before saying I permanently want to move up to lightweight. Just think that's reasonable. But I'm moving up Doo Ho Choi to the 15 spot because we lost a spot in Max Holloway. I think a win over Nate Landwehr, who was just outside the rankings, is worthy enough of a spot. Nate Landwehr was like a top 20 guy. Doo Ho Choi just dominated him. I'm putting him at 15. I think he fucking deserves it. Everyone else that was in the rankings moves up one spot, including Movsar and Aljo. I don't think Aljo lost any aura with his fight. I just think it was a close fight with one of the top guys. I think Movsar being able to beat Aljo, and I do think he beat Aljo. Don't think it was a robbery. I think that was more than enough for him to stay above Diego Lopez in my rankings. I'm just going to say that. He has the win over Lopez in the past. He's 19-0. He just beat Aljo, which is the best opponent, better than any opponent that I think Lopez has faced, if I'm being brutally honest, other than Evloev, and he lost the fight. Listen, I think Evloev, I like Lopez a lot more than I like Evloev. I want to give him the title shot because of what he's done for the UFC and the spectacular work that he has left behind, but Movsar does have the win over him. He just beat Aljo, and it was like, that's an impressive win, even though it wasn't like the most. The scrambles were fun, dude. I kind of had fun watching that fight. It was very high-level grappling in MMA. But I'm going to put him here, too. Deal with it, guys. Moving on. Light heavyweight. That's lightweight. Dom is back, baby. Moving up to the top 11. You could argue he could go higher above Krylov because no one knows where he is, but I just know how good Krylov really is. Moving Dom up to 11, jumps up 2 spots. Johnny Walker, just because when you look at his past performances compared to these other guys, he's worthy of moving down. I moved him below Azamat Mirzakhanov and Dom Reyes. Those 2 guys are coming off multiple wins now. Finishes also included. Johnny Walker's coming off getting knocked out twice, brutally. And I get it's to Ankalaev and Ozdemir, but then we just saw Ozdemir lose to Olberg in a very close fight. So moving Johnny Walker down to 12. He's got a fight against Bogdan Guskov, who I moved up 1 spot because Anthony Smith had to move down a couple spots. I debated taking Anthony Smith out of these rankings knowing that he's retiring soon, but I'm going to leave it in there until Leave Anthony Smith in the rankings until the official retirement announcement is made, which I hope is coming, dude. I don't want to see Anthony Smith fight again. It just was kind of sad, with Dom Reyes coming out and saying, Anthony Smith was trying to get hit just to feel something. That's kind of fucked up. Don't really want to see that. So we'll move on to heavyweight. Agree or disagree, guys? Volkov got robbed. First of all, I know you agree with that. But second of all, I didn't put a 3. It's a 2A and a 2B. I think Gane and Volkov are tied at the 2 spot here because I'm really confident that Volkov won that fight. I know Cyril Gane got a robbery gifted to him. So I'm not willing to sit here and say that Cyril Gane is a full ranking spot above Volkov. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to have number 1 be Aspinall, the interim champ, who's the real champ. But, the rankings have to go how the rankings go. And then Gane and Volkov are tied at 2. I'm doing it. I don't see a world in which I can put Volkov below Gane because it's just they're on the same level. Volkov's a little bit better, and I told y'all fucking so. Plus 300? Come on now. Is a plus 300 whack? Drives me nuts. But anyway, Volkov's going to be tied with Volkov here. Volkov's going to be tied with Gane here at 2. Guys, I'm sorry. The brain is just fucking mush this morning. I don't know what it's about. And lastly, we'll move on to flyweight. Have I done something wrong? I just realized that I did flyweight without putting in... And I'm going to tell you right now, guys. You know what? Cody Durden is getting the boot. Sorry, guys. Coming off a loss here. Charles Johnson... Everyone, so Asu Omabayev and down, you're all going down a spot. Show you how I do this live. Everyone's going down 1. And why is that, guys? Come on, with the main event. Kai Asakura is going here at 8. The UFC has him at 14. Dude, I don't know how you can put him at 14 knowing how good this guy is and He got a title shot against Pantoja because he got subbed in round 2 when everyone else loses to Pantoja. You're just going to drop him down to 14. I think that's crap. I think he's better than a lot of the guys in this division. I think he's better than Almabayev. I think Almabayev's a little overrated. Think he's, even though Kopp beat him in Ryzen, I still think he's better than Manel Kopp. Because that was a close fight, and they gave it to Kopp, even though a lot of people think Kai Asakura won. Tim Elliott just hasn't done anything to gear Bruno Silva. I just don't think they're as good as Kai Asakura, so I'm putting Kai in here. Deal with it, guys. I'm just saying, deal with it. Kai Asakura at 8. Pantoja stays here, but what you really want to see is the pound for pound, where Pantoja moves 5 spots up to number 4. 3 title defenses, guys. Against Steve Erceg, stud in the division. Against Brandon Royval, stud in the division, number 1 guy. And against, it took the belt off of Brandon Moreno, the guy who was literally beating everyone other than Davison Figueiredo. And even then, he was beating Davison Figueiredo at times. Just Figgy actually has a win over him. And then he just dominates Kai Asakura, a guy from Ryzen that comes over. So I'm moving him up. This guy's pound for pound. 3 title defenses. Has an argument to go up in weight to go fight for the double champ status. That moves him above Duplessis, who has 1 title defense, even though it was an impressive one against Izzy and an impressive way to get his belt over Strickland. And he already has a win over Whitaker in the division. But I'm putting him above. Think Pantoja's done more. John Jones is moving down 2 spots because you know what? His win over Ciryl Gane's not that impressive. It's not. He's sub Ciryl Gane in a round. Guess what? Volkov just beat Ciryl Gane for 2 rounds in the grappling. So if Alexander Volkov is beating Gane in the grappling, John Jones subs him in a round, it doesn't mean it's that impressive. And then John Jones' other win is over a 42-year-old Stipe Miocic with a body shot when at 42 years old, your body's not built to take the same shots. Pause again. Yeah, I'm going to move him down below Dricus and Alessandro Pantoja. I think it's the right thing to do. If you don't like it, fucking deal with it. Because can you look at me and tell me that him beating a 42-year-old Stipe and submitting Ciryl Gane, who just lost to Volkov even though Gane got a robbery victory, can you tell me that that's more impressive than Pantoja going out there, beating Erceg in a very, very close fight, which, watch the fight back? I don't know, dude. That's such a flip-flop fight. It's a very, very close fight, but then you look at that, he clearly beats Royval, clearly beats Moreno, then he has wins over everyone else in the division. Like, he's going to go up above John Jones for me. John Jones is at light heavyweight and defended his title against Pereira and Jamal Hill and Yuri. It's a different story, but he didn't. He got his belt against Ciryl Gane, who doesn't know how to grapple, as we saw against Alexander Volkov, and defended it against a 42-year-old Stipe. So he's moving down to 6. Moving down a spot to 7 because Pantoja just jumps him. Bilal's moving down a spot to 8 because Pantoja just jumps him. Marav's moving down a spot to 9 because Pantoja just jumps him. So that's the way it worked. Hope you enjoyed the rankings. I think these are the right ones. If you don't, it is what it is. I just realized that I was showing you me the whole time and not the rankings. That's what they look like. But these are the rankings updates, guys. I hope you enjoyed them. If you did, please like and subscribe. More content coming out this week.